Hello there. It's always a pleasure welcoming you on Singles and Married with Christi. And I'm here once again back on your screens. Okay, today I'll be talking to the married people. I realized that I've been talking to the singles for a while now, and I thought I should do something for the married. Now, guess what? One thing about issues of relationship and marriage is that even when you're talking to the married people, the singles can learn from it. You begin to prepare ahead. You begin to learn from all the things that are being said. So this knowledge is also for you. However, if you're married, please do come with me. Now, the topic I'll be talking about is keeping your marriage strong. Keeping your marriage strong. Somehow, God impressed in my heart that there are a lot of people that are going through so much in their marriages and are wondering what to do with those marriages. And so, this topic is for you. Let's call this part 1. The first thing I want to say about keeping your marriage strong is be patient with your partner. You need to be patient. You need to learn to be patient with your partner, especially if you are newly married. You know, the early years of marriage, quite challenging times. One day I'll get to talk about starting life in marriage. You know, so one thing about starting life in marriage is that you are pressured with so many things, trying to adjust, trying to understand each other, get to know each other and everything. And let me tell you the truth. Marriage in itself, it's a process. So whether you are young in your marriage, whether you are in the mid years of your marriage, or you've gone far in your marriage, you discover that you still need to be patient with your spouse. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to change, to be able to bend in the way of your spouse one time or the other. Don't just be rigid about things. And then you need to learn to adapt to different situations, different conditions as they would occur. Circumstances will change here and there. Your spouse might, not be the person at first you thought they were, because when you get married, you're going to try to adjust. You will be making discoveries about your partner. And then as you do that, you need to learn to be patient with each other. Point number 2, build intimacy. I love what somebody said when trying to define intimacy. He said, intimacy means intimacy. That means I open up to you, you open up to me. Now, what's a marriage when the two people are not open to each other? Intimacy is you building friendship, building an emotional connection with each other, being friends. You connect with each other, you share your thoughts, you share your feelings, you share your experiences. Now, let me say something to married people. Please, if you're married and you're not friends with your partner, it's not too late to begin to build friendship. You just need to be intentional about it. You just need to work on it. You just need to spend time together. You need to talk more. You need to share more. You need to depend more, you understand, on the fact that both of you are sharing life together. Now, it is such a challenge if you and your spouse are not friends. I just saying it now, I can just imagine myself not being friends with my husband. I know that marriage would have just been such a hell of a task. But the fact that my husband and I are friends, it makes a lot of things easier. We get to share our thoughts, we get to talk, we get to share our plans, our desires, we get to share our pains. We are open to each other. Now we are friends. So I want to encourage you, build friendship. And then I want to let me use the opportunity to say something to the singles as well. You are in a relationship with someone and you're not friends. It is because people don't take time to build friendship by talking to each other, by spending time, that they end up having sex instead. Sex is not supposed to be part of a relationship, before you get married. But because you don't spend time building friendship, you spend time having sex instead. And then you get married and discover that you are not friends. And then it becomes such a problem for you to blend in that marriage. So please, I want to say to you singles that are listening to me, build friendship. For my married people, build friendship and keep your friendship alive. Build intimacy. That is one way to build intimacy, is to build friendship. Be open to each other. Let me move to point number 3. Be deliberate about romance. Now, I love what my mentor would say about romance. He said, my mentor, Pastor Kingsley, he says that romance is doing, those special things in the simplest way. Doing those special things in the simplest way. Just applying, a lot of tact, a lot of wisdom to be able to do a lot of things. You do those things in a very special way, in a very unique way, in a very creative way. Now, you see people say that, oh, what does it mean to be romantic? People think that when they say build romance, they're talking about having sex. Sex it has, maybe it's just 1% of being romantic. That's the truth. Maybe it's just 1% of being romantic, but being romantic has a lot to do with other things, and I'm going to just talk about things, a few of them. You need to spice things up in your marriage. That's the truth, so that it doesn't get boring. If you don't spice up the romance in your marriage, it's going to get boring. And that's where you find out that people don't look forward to coming home, because there's nothing to come home to. You are not intimate with your partner. There is no romance in the marriage. And so you just start looking for outlets in different places. And these are part of the issues where you discover that adultery begins. Because when people cannot find the thing in their marriage, they begin to look out there. And that is a wrong way, because that thing you are looking for out there, you can have it right in your own marriage. Remember the courtship behaviors you had when you were going out? The problem with us married people is that we think that, okay, during the courtship, there was pursuit, you made an effort trying to do a lot of things, for your partner, to keep the relationship burning, the fire burning, the love, strong. And then you get married and you think that, oh, now I have this person. No, now I've gotten her. Now he's my husband. I don't need to do much. So people just relax and just get into a routine that becomes so boring, and then marriage becomes boring. Marriage is not supposed to be boring. In fact, marriage is one of the most exciting experiences that you can ever have. For me, it is exciting, and just saying it now, I'm excited. That's the truth, because marriage is an exciting place to be. It is because of the way some married people have made marriage to be boring that we make the singles afraid to get into marriage, because some singles think that once they enter marriage, their life will stop, but it's not true. Your life just begins, in fact, when you get married. When they say this is just the beginning, like, marriage is just the beginning of great things to come. Now, what are some of those courtship behaviors that you used to practice? You used to tell your partner, I love you. Now, Oga, Madam, when last did you tell your husband, I love you, sweetheart? Or I love you, darling? Or when last did you look into their eyes with love and longing and say to them, I love you, you mean so much to me? When last did you do that? Some of those courtship behaviors, for example, you used to call, you used to send chats, messages, you used to bombard their phones with calls and chats, but now you no longer do them. I remember then, even a lot of people, you used to write letters. For me and my husband, it was one of our practice even back then. And I know at some point we lost it, and then we revived it again. Just recently, he wrote me a very, very, very sweet letter, and I read it, and oh my God, it was just the words. And I said to him, I need you to even record this letter in your voice, because reading it, I tried to put his voice into it, and it was so powerful. Now you need to learn to write to your partners. I remember I attended one program, my husband and I, where as part of, it is a couples program, where you go for, it's a weekend kind of thing. And as part of the things you do in that retreat is that you write a letter to your spouse, expressing your love for them, appreciating them for their love for you, and then you get to read it to them. Now, there's so much that does when you do it. So for some of you used to write letters to your partners before, you have stopped. Please revive that culture. If you never used to even do it, you can start now. You need to take note. Sometimes another courtship behavior is that you need to take note of some of the things they like. Sometimes they might say, oh, I wish I could get that, or I'm planning and hoping I'll be able to get that. They want to buy something, and if you have the money as a husband, as a wife, please get it for them. And let me say this, it is not just the man that is allowed to buy gifts for his wife. Women, I know some of us women, we are slacking in this area, but let me tell you the truth, it is very important. Giving of gifts is not a man thing. If you're a child of God, it is a Christian thing. It is a God thing, because as a child of God, having you carry the DNA of God in you, and God is love. Love comes with giving. One of the characteristics of love is giving. So if you say that you truly love somebody, then you should be able to go out of your way and do something for them. For me, honestly, I'm going to tell you that some of the things that I have bought for my husband, I have not been able to buy them for myself. I try to go out of my way to do more for him, and he also goes out of his way to do more for me. Some of the most expensive things that I have ever had, he buys them for me. Sometimes I don't care, and then he does that for me. And then sometimes I go out of my way and do stuff for him. Now, when you do this, it's beautiful. It keeps the romance high. You need to learn to compliment your partner. You need to compliment. Tell them nice things. Oh, I appreciate how you cook. I appreciate your food. I love your food. I appreciate your dress sense. When they dress up to go out, don't form as if you didn't see them. Tell them you look good. Sometimes I tell my husband, I say, hey, don't forget, you're a married man. You look good. And he laughs, They say men don't blush. Wait until you give some compliments and you see your husband blushing. Now, for the men, when she does her hair, when she looks good, when she cooks something nice, please compliment. Tell her, I appreciate the fact that you go out of your way to help arrange my things. Thank you for cooking. Thank you for looking so good for me. And all those things. You need to be able to compliment each other. Even for the things they are doing at work, compliment them. I see the way you give in so much at work. You are so dedicated and committed to work. Wow, you do amazing, and I am so proud of you. You need to be able to say that to your spouse. It helps to keep the romance alive. You need to sometimes, and may I say this especially to the men, sometimes cook for your wife. Who says it is only the woman that should cook? Even the men can cook, and I know some men that can cook even better than their wives. That's the truth. And I appreciate God that I am blessed with a man that can cook. Sometimes he cooks, and honestly, sometimes he cooks the most amazing meals. I cook for him, and sometimes he goes out of his way and he does it the same for me. Now, these things help the romance in the marriage. Now, where you get to tell your wife, hey babe, sit down, don't worry about cooking today, I am going to cook for you. Sometimes it's date nights. You need to plan date nights. Go out on dates. Don't be every day this woman is sweating on the gas or on the stove, cooking. Sometimes tell her, hey babe, I don't want you to cook tomorrow. I want you to look good. That's your green dress. I want you to wear it tomorrow because I'm taking you out somewhere for a date. Now, The problem is when you think that the place you need to take her must be the most expensive place. Now, I remember before we got to this place with my husband, there are places we couldn't go at all for dates, but there are places we were able to go to. Now, you need to know how much you have, where you are, and thank God your partner knows who you are. Your partner knows how much you earn. Your partner knows your capacity and your capabilities. Then your partner will understand with you. Sometimes it is not even the man only that will initiate dates. Sometimes you, madam, you can tell him, hey guy, I want to take you out on a date today. So after work, it's a date by 5 p.m. We're going somewhere, so look nice and smell good. Now you need to do that. These are things that spice up a marriage and keep the romance alive. I have to stop here on part 1, and I urge you to look forward to part 2, where we continue with keeping your marriage strong. Now I want to say, if you have not followed me on my YouTube channel, Singles and Married with Christi, please do so. Follow immediately now. Just follow me and put on your notifications so that as soon as the next video drops, you will get that notification and get to listen. It's been a wonderful time being with you. Thank you so much for staying. Have a good time.